Most people think growing food at home requires a backyard, expensive raised beds, perfect soil, and years of gardening experience. That lie has stopped millions of people from growing even a single vegetable. Meanwhile, some of the highest-yielding food crops on Earth are quietly thriving in 5-gallon buckets, laundry baskets, grow bags, old storage totes, and cheap plastic containers on tiny balconies, patios, rooftops, windowsills, and apartment corners. You do not need land to grow serious food. You need the right vegetables, the right setup, and the strategies almost nobody explains properly. And here's the crazy part. Some vegetables actually grow better in containers than they do in the ground. Fewer weeds, better drainage, easier pest control, faster soil warming in spring, total control over moisture and nutrients. In many cases, container gardeners harvest cleaner, healthier, more productive crops than traditional gardeners digging giant rows in hard soil. In this video, I'm going to show you the 10 best vegetables to grow at home in containers. These are productive, beginner-friendly, space-efficient, high-value crops that can feed you for months from surprisingly small spaces. But before we start, I want to know something. If you could only grow one vegetable in containers for the rest of your life, what would it be? Drop it in the comments right now because I read every comment, and I want to see which vegetable dominates globally. Now let's grow some serious food. Vegetable 1, tomatoes, the king of container gardening. Tomatoes are perfect for containers because they love warm soil, controlled watering, and rich growing conditions. Containers actually help create all three. But here's where most people mess up. They choose giant, indeterminate varieties without understanding what that means. Indeterminate tomatoes grow like vines. They can hit 8 feet tall, sprawl everywhere, and demand constant pruning and support. That's fine if you know what you're doing, but beginners should start with determinate or compact indeterminate varieties bred for containers. Cherry tomatoes are especially powerful. One healthy cherry tomato plant can produce hundreds of tomatoes over a season. Hundreds! Tiny balcony, massive harvest. Varieties like Tiny Tim, Patio Princess, Sweet 100, Roma, and Bush Early Girl absolutely dominate in containers. Now let's talk container size, because this matters more than people realize. Tiny pots create tiny harvests. Tomatoes need root space. Minimum container size should be 5 gallons, but honestly, bigger is better. 10-gallon grow bags or buckets produce monster plants. Drainage is non-negotiable. If water sits at the bottom, roots rot. Drill holes if necessary. Never skip drainage. Tomatoes are also nutrient hungry. This is why many container gardeners fail halfway through the season. The plant starts strong, flowers appear, fruit sets, then everything stalls. Why? The soil ran out of nutrition. Use quality potting mix and feed consistently. A balanced fertilizer early in growth, then higher potassium once fruiting starts. And here's a secret most beginner videos never explain: deep planting. Tomatoes can grow roots all along buried stems, so when planting, remove the lower leaves and bury much of the stem. The buried section develops roots, creating a stronger plant capable of supporting larger harvests. Sunlight matters too. Tomatoes are solar-powered sugar factories. 6 hours minimum, 8 or more is ideal. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever tasted a truly homegrown tomato fresh off the vine? Because once you do, grocery store tomatoes become depressing forever. Homegrown tomatoes are sweeter, juicier, richer, and actually taste like real food instead of watery red cardboard. And financially, tomatoes are one of the smartest container crops you can grow. Cherry tomatoes, heirlooms, organic slicing tomatoes, these are expensive in stores, but a single container plant can keep producing for months. The payoff to space ratio is insane. Vegetable number 2, peppers. Small plant, massive rewards. Peppers might actually be the perfect beginner container vegetable. Why? Because unlike tomatoes, peppers stay relatively compact while producing enormous harvests for their size. Bell peppers, jalapenos, cayenne, banana peppers, serranos, habaneros, Thai chilies, shishitos. Almost all peppers thrive in containers. And peppers love heat. That's one reason containers work so well. Container soil warms faster than ground soil, especially in black pots or grow bags. Warm roots mean faster growth and heavier production. A 5-gallon container can support a beautiful, productive pepper plant all season. And here's what makes peppers special: productivity over time. One pepper plant doesn't just give you one harvest, it keeps going. Weeks, sometimes months, especially hot peppers. Some plants become absolute pepper factories. Many gardeners underestimate how much food a few pepper plants produce. 4 to 6 healthy plants can overwhelm a family with peppers. Peppers also require less support than tomatoes. Many compact varieties need no cage at all. That makes them ideal for balconies, patios, and small spaces where giant tomato cages become annoying. Now let's talk watering. Peppers hate extremes. Bone dry? Bad. Constantly soaked? Also bad. Consistent moisture is key. Containers help because you control the watering entirely. One powerful trick: slightly stressing pepper plants once mature can increase heat in hot peppers. Less water during fruit ripening often intensifies capsaicin levels. Another thing people forget: harvesting encourages production. The more peppers you pick, the more the plant often produces. Leave overripe fruit hanging too long, and the plant slows down because it thinks reproduction is complete. And peppers store beautifully. Fresh, dried, frozen, fermented, powdered. A single productive season can stock your kitchen for months. Imagine stepping outside and harvesting fresh jalapenos for tacos, sweet bell peppers for salads, cayenne for drying, or habaneros for hot sauce anytime you want. That's food independence from a container smaller than a kitchen trash can. Vegetable 3. Lettuce, the fastest food you can grow. Now let's talk speed, because some people don't want to wait 3 months for harvests. They want food now. That's where lettuce becomes almost unbeatable. Lettuce is one of the fastest, easiest, highest success vegetables for containers. Some varieties go from seed to harvest in under 30 days. Think about that. You can literally grow fresh salad greens faster than many people finish binge-watching a TV series. And lettuce solves one of the biggest frustrations in modern grocery shopping: paying ridiculous prices for tiny boxes of greens that spoil in 4 days. Container lettuce changes that completely. Cut-and-come-again lettuce varieties allow multiple harvests from the same planting. Instead of ripping out the entire plant, you harvest outer leaves while the center keeps growing. That means continuous salads for weeks. Loose-leaf varieties are especially productive in containers. Black-seeded Simpson, red sales, oak leaf, butter crunch, these explode with growth in shallow containers. And here's the beauty of lettuce: it doesn't need deep soil. Even 6-inch deep containers can produce impressive harvests. Window boxes, storage bins, wooden crates, recycled containers. Lettuce is flexible. It also tolerates partial shade better than fruiting crops. That's huge for apartment growers without full sun. In hot climates, afternoon shade actually helps prevent bolting, which is when lettuce becomes bitter and shoots upward trying to flower. Succession planting is the real secret. Most beginners plant one batch and wonder why harvests stop. Smart gardeners plant new lettuce every 2 weeks. That creates continuous production. Imagine harvesting fresh salad every single day from your balcony. No pesticides, no wilted supermarket greens, no overpriced organic boxes, just crisp food steps away from your kitchen. And if you've never grown lettuce before, this is probably the easiest confidence-building crop possible. Fast germination, fast growth, quick rewards. That matters psychologically. Fast harvests keep beginners motivated. Vegetable 4. Radishes, the underappreciated speed demon. Radishes are criminally underrated. Most people think of radishes as weird, spicy salad decorations. Huge mistake. Radishes are one of the fastest-growing vegetables on Earth. Some varieties mature in as little as 21 days, 3 weeks. That's almost instant gratification in gardening terms. Radishes are perfect for containers because they need little space, tolerate cooler weather, and grow rapidly in shallow soil. You can grow dozens in a single medium-sized container. And radishes do something important for beginners. They prove gardening works. When someone plants seeds and sees edible harvests within weeks, their confidence explodes. Now here's something many people don't realize. Radishes aren't just roots. The greens are edible too. Fresh radish greens can be sautéed, blended into pesto, added to soups, or mixed into salads. That doubles the value of the crop. Varieties matter, though. Small spring radishes, like cherry bell and French breakfast, are lightning fast. Larger winter radishes, like daikon, need deeper containers and longer growing periods. For beginners, stick with small, round, or cylindrical spring varieties first. Loose, well-draining soil is critical. Hard, compacted soil creates deformed roots. And consistency matters. Uneven watering causes splitting and overly spicy flavor. One incredible strategy is interplanting radishes with slower crops. While tomatoes or peppers slowly establish, radishes mature quickly and get harvested before larger plants take over. That's how advanced gardeners maximize space. Containers don't have to grow just one crop at a time. Now tell me this, would you rather wait 90 days for your first harvest or pull fresh vegetables out of soil 3 weeks after planting? Vegetable 5. Green onions, the never-ending harvest. Green onions might be the most efficient container vegetable on this entire list. Why? Because you can regrow them almost endlessly. Buy green onions once, cut the tops, plant the roots, harvest repeatedly. It almost feels illegal how easy it is. Green onions require very little space. You can grow dozens in narrow containers, window boxes, buckets, or recycled tubs. They tolerate partial shade. They grow quickly, and they recover fast after harvesting. And they're useful constantly. Soups, eggs, rice, stir-fries, salads, potatoes, sandwiches. Green onions improve almost everything. Now here's where container growing becomes powerful. Instead of harvesting entire onions, you can cut only what you need while leaving roots intact. The plant regrows again and again. Many people keep green onions producing for months from a single planting. And unlike large bulb onions, green onions don't require huge containers or long seasons. They're beginner gold. Another advantage? Pest resistance. Compared to many vegetables, onions face fewer serious pest issues in containers. You can also grow bunching onions densely, which maximizes production per square foot. And let's be honest, grocery store green onions are weirdly expensive for what they are. Growing your own eliminates that annoyance permanently. Some gardeners even keep containers near kitchen doors for instant harvesting during cooking. That's the dream, honestly. Walking outside with scissors and harvesting dinner ingredients in seconds. Vegetable 6. Potatoes, the calorie machine. Now we're entering serious food territory. Potatoes are one of the most calorie-dense crops you can grow in containers. This isn't garnish gardening anymore. This is real food production. And contrary to what many people think, potatoes grow exceptionally well in containers if you understand one critical concept: hilling. Potatoes form tubers along buried stems. The more stem you bury gradually, the more potatoes the plant can produce. That's why grow bags, buckets, laundry baskets, and tall containers work so well. You start with soil at the bottom, plant seed potatoes. As stems grow, you keep adding soil around them, leaving only the top growth exposed. Each buried section creates more tubers. This vertical production method can generate astonishing yields in tiny spaces, and harvesting is ridiculously satisfying. Instead of digging blindly through dirt, you dump the container out and uncover piles of potatoes. Kids love it, adults love it, everyone loves it. Now, let's talk container choice. Fabric grow bags are amazing for potatoes because they improve airflow and drainage. Laundry baskets work too. Large buckets with holes drilled in the bottom also perform well. Container size matters here. Bigger containers mean bigger harvests. Potatoes need consistent moisture but hate waterlogged soil. Uneven watering can cause cracking or hollow tubers. Sunlight, at least 6 hours daily. One thing beginners often overlook is variety selection. Some potatoes are better for containers than others. Yukon Gold, Red Pontiac, Kennebec, and Fingerlings all perform well. And potatoes store for months. That's important. Many container vegetables are fresh-use crops. Potatoes become food security. One productive container can provide multiple meals from a surprisingly small footprint. Think about how insane that is. A bucket of soil producing pounds of calorie-rich food on a balcony. That's powerful. Vegetable 7. Cucumbers, vertical harvest machines. Most people think cucumbers need sprawling gardens. Wrong. Container cucumbers become vertical production systems when grown correctly. The secret is trellising. Instead of letting vines crawl everywhere, you train them upward. This saves space, improves airflow, reduces disease, and keeps fruit cleaner. Bush cucumber varieties are especially powerful in containers. Compact plants, heavy yields, minimal space. But even vining varieties can dominate vertically with cages, trellises, or strings. Now here's what makes cucumbers incredible: productivity. Healthy cucumber plants can produce relentlessly. Pick cucumbers regularly and the plant keeps pumping out more. Ignore oversized fruit too long and production slows dramatically. Containers actually help control cucumber problems by improving drainage and isolating soil-borne diseases. But cucumbers are thirsty, very thirsty. Large leaves and fast growth mean they demand consistent water. In hot weather, container cucumbers may need daily watering. Mulching helps tremendously. Straw, shredded leaves, or compost on top of soil reduces evaporation. And let's talk value. Fresh cucumbers from stores are often watery and bland. Homegrown cucumbers taste sweeter, crisper, and fresher. Plus, you can grow specialty varieties rarely found in supermarkets. Lemon cucumbers, Persian cucumbers, tiny pickling cucumbers, Armenian cucumbers. And if you're into food preservation, cucumbers become pickles. That means your container harvest can last far beyond the growing season. Few things feel more satisfying than opening homemade pickles in winter from vegetables grown in containers months earlier. Vegetable 8. Beans, the high-protein space saver. Beans are absolute container gardening workhorses. Fast-growing, productive, nutrient-rich, beginner-friendly, and they come in two main types: bush beans and pole beans. Bush beans stay compact and productive without support. Pole beans climb vertically and can produce even larger harvests over longer periods. Both work beautifully in containers. Pole beans are especially powerful for tiny spaces because they turn vertical space into food production. A simple bamboo trellis or string system can support enormous growth upward instead of outward. That's how smart gardeners beat space limitations. Beans also improve soil by fixing nitrogen through symbiotic bacteria in their roots. They literally help enrich growing conditions. Now here's something most beginners don't realize. Beans produce fast. Many varieties mature in around 50 to 60 days, and harvesting regularly increases production dramatically. The more beans you pick, the more flowers the plant produces. One neglected plant with oversized pods can signal the plant to slow down reproduction. Keep harvesting, keep production flowing. Container beans also create beautiful edible privacy screens on balconies and patios when grown vertically. You're not just growing food, you're creating living walls of productivity. And fresh beans are wildly superior to store versions, sweeter, crispier, more flavorful. You can also dry certain bean varieties for long-term storage, transforming containers into protein production systems. That's not an exaggeration. Beans are one of the most globally important food crops for a reason.
Vegetable 9. Carrots. Yes, you can grow them in containers. People constantly assume carrots can't grow in containers. Completely false. Carrots actually thrive in containers if the soil is loose and deep enough. In fact, containers solve one of the biggest carrot growing problems: hard, compacted ground. Containers allow you to create perfectly soft, rock-free soil that carrots love. Now, depth matters. Short carrot varieties can grow in relatively shallow containers, but longer varieties need deeper soil. That's why container gardeners often grow shorter types like Parisian, Littlefinger, or Nantes carrots. Loose soil is everything. Heavy soil creates forked, twisted, ugly carrots. Containers give you control. Another secret? Thin seedlings aggressively. Crowded carrots stay tiny. Most beginners refuse to thin enough because pulling seedlings feels wasteful, but spacing creates size. Carrots also tolerate cooler temperatures and can be grown in spring and fall in many climates. And here's something underrated. Container carrots are easier to harvest. No wrestling with hard ground, no broken roots, just pull from soft potting mix. Flavor-wise, homegrown carrots can be shockingly sweet, especially when grown in cooler weather. Cold temperatures convert starches into sugars. That's why fall carrots often taste incredible. And fresh carrots store well too, another food security advantage. Imagine pulling perfectly straight, sweet carrots from a bucket outside your kitchen door. That's container gardening done right. Vegetable 10. Kale, the survival superfood. Let's finish with one of the toughest, most productive vegetables you can grow in containers: kale. Kale is almost unfairly resilient. Heat, cold, wind, neglect, kale keeps going. And unlike head lettuce, kale offers continuous harvests for months. You harvest outer leaves while the plant continues producing from the center. Some kale plants survive nearly year-round in mild climates. Nutritionally, kale is a monster. Vitamins, minerals, fiber, antioxidants, massive productivity from a small footprint. And containers make kale even easier because you control soil quality and moisture. Kale also tolerates cooler temperatures better than many vegetables. In fact, frost often improves flavor by increasing sweetness. Now let's talk varieties. Curly kale, dinosaur kale, red Russian kale, all excellent.
Red Russian is especially beginner-friendly because it grows quickly and tastes milder than some tougher curly varieties. One huge advantage of kale is pest recovery. Even if insects damage leaves, kale often rebounds aggressively. And unlike delicate vegetables, kale doesn't collapse immediately from minor neglect. That makes it ideal for beginners still learning consistency. Another major advantage? Daily harvest potential. Smoothies, soups, stir-fries, chips, salads, pasta, eggs. A few container kale plants can provide greens constantly. And financially, organic kale is expensive, very expensive in some places. Container kale dramatically cuts those costs. Plus, mature kale plants actually look beautiful in containers, especially purple or blue-green varieties, functional and ornamental at the same time. Container gardening mistakes that destroy harvests. Now, before you rush out and plant everything, let's talk about the mistakes destroying most container gardens. Mistake number 1, containers too small. Tiny pots create stressed plants and weak harvests. Bigger containers hold more moisture, more nutrients, and larger root systems. Mistake number 2, poor drainage. No drainage holes equals root rot disaster. Mistake number 3, cheap soil. Garden dirt from the ground compacts badly in containers. Use quality potting mix. Mistake number 4, inconsistent watering. Containers dry out faster than ground soil. Deep, consistent watering matters. Mistake number 5, not enough sunlight. Most vegetables need 6 to 8 hours minimum. Mistake number 6, overcrowding. One healthy plant outperforms 3 crowded, struggling plants. Mistake number 7, ignoring feeding. Container plants exhaust nutrients faster than in-ground crops. Fertilizer matters. Fix these 7 mistakes and your harvests improve dramatically almost overnight. Why container gardening is the future. Now let's step back for a second because this matters beyond gardening. Food prices are rising everywhere. Grocery quality is inconsistent. More people live in apartments or homes without land, and millions of people think food production is impossible for them. Container gardening destroys that excuse completely. You can grow food on balconies, patios, rooftops, walkways, windowsills, driveways, tiny courtyards. You can start with 1 container. 1. That's all it takes. 1 tomato plant, 1 pepper plant, 1 bucket of potatoes. And suddenly, you stop being just a consumer. You become a producer. That changes your mindset completely. You start noticing seasons differently, weather differently, food differently. And honestly, harvesting food you grew yourself feels deeply satisfying in a way buying groceries never will. Even small harvests feel meaningful because they came from your effort. Now imagine scaling that up. 10 containers, 20 containers, a balcony jungle feeding your household. That's not fantasy. People do it every year. Conclusion. There you have it. The 10 best vegetables to grow at home in containers. Tomatoes for endless fresh harvests, peppers for compact productivity, lettuce for fast salads, radishes for lightning speed results, green onions for continuous regrowth, potatoes for calorie-rich food security, cucumbers for vertical abundance, beans for protein-packed harvests, kale for non-stop nutrient-dense greens. These aren't random vegetables. These are strategic crops chosen for productivity, container performance, beginner success, and real-world usefulness. And here's the most important thing. You do not need to grow all 10. Start with 1. 1 successful container changes everything. 1 tomato plant can turn someone into a gardener for life. 1 bucket of potatoes can completely change how someone views food production. One tray of lettuce can prove that fresh food doesn't have to come from a store. So here's your challenge. Before this week ends, plant something, anything. A bucket, a grow bag, a recycled container. Start small if you need to, but start. And now I want to hear from you again. Which of these 10 vegetables are you most excited to grow? Or which one already grows best for you in containers? Drop it in the comments, because your experience could help another gardener reading through. If this video helped you, hit the like button so more people can discover container gardening. Subscribe to Plant Care Secrets TV for more practical growing methods, high-yield gardening strategies, and food growing techniques that actually work in real life. Until next time, grow smarter, harvest more, and never underestimate how much food a few containers can produce.